Welcome again into 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Look at there, down at the other end of the broadcast table, just grinning like a Chessy cat, smelling like an orange.
I'm sparkly today.
You're sparkly and orangey today.
Orangey. Aren't
Yeah.
you glad you you invited me on this show?
Please, Ruben, do something.
What do you want me to do?
You've got the microphone switch, buddy.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Welcome, Ruben Wright, our ace producer. So we are very aromatic today. I wish our life strategist and I were talking earlier in the day, and we were saying, I wish we could kind of let everybody in on the aroma today.
Scratch and sniff. Remember that? When you were
Yeah.
a kid?
Maybe we can do scratch and sniff radio. That would be
That would be something.
for you to contemplate, Ruben. We're going to
I'll
talk
get right on that.
We're going to talk actually about the oldest medicine that mankind has, essential oils. And,
Wow.
it really is mankind's first
I
medicine.
never think about it that way.
Well,
but
we'll talk about that
That's
a
it.
bit, and quite a bit of other things as we tackle Essential Oils 101 with Mary Toma today. She's our life strategist, so we'll come back and meet her.
Fun.
And thank you, folks, for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We're presented by CADA, the Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse of Northwest Louisiana. They've been helping individuals and families for 60 years now. We're brought to you by Milestones Counseling Center, by Jerry Anderson State Farm Insurance, by Learning RX, by Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, by Resilient House, and by Jacob's Well Inspirational Books and Gifts. Coming back to meet Mary Toma, going to do heart-centered essentials for radiant living. Find out all about that as we do Essential Oils 101.
Why am I soft in the middle now? Why am I soft in the middle? The rest of my life is so hard. I need a photo opportunity. I want a shot of redemption.
If we're talking addiction prevention, education, and treatment in Welcome back into Strategies for Living here on 1017 FM and 710 Keel. PLPC Carla McCormick, marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Please welcome to the program now a woman with a heart full of love for the world. She is a mother, she's a wife, she's an entrepreneur, she is a doTERRA wellness advocate and coach. She is Mary Toma. Mary, welcome to Strategies for Living.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here with you all.
We are so happy to have you here. Now, your life kind of changed in a yoga class because that's when you learned about essential oils, right?
It's true.
Kind of divine intervention.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
It came into my life accidentally, or not accidentally.
Yeah,
Divine
maybe not.
intervention for sure. I was in a yoga class in Shavasana. You know, the resting pose when you're all finished with your yoga.
Right.
And one of my friends, who was a yoga teacher, came over to me and she said, "Would you like the oils?" She whispered over my head. And I said, "I don't know. What are you talking about?" And she put a drop in her hand and rubbed her hands together and held it over my face. And I just breathed in, that really wonderful aroma of one of the blends.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that they actually had any therapeutic value. I just thought they smelled good at the time.
Yeah, yeah. So let's start there because if this is Essential Oils 101, when we say essential oils, what do we mean? What are we meaning?
Well, it's what most people think. It's plant extracts. It's natural aromatic compounds that are extracted and distilled from plants for health benefits. So it comes from roots and stems and leaves and barks and trees and resins, all the things that grow naturally on the planet to serve us.
And therefore both physical and emotional.
Absolutely. And I
benefits.
believe they also have spiritual benefits because I think mind, body, spirit's all one thing.
I agree. Yeah, I totally agree. Now, you mentioned the aroma, and a lot of people know them for aroma, but they can also be used topically.
Absolutely. Now, when I speak about essential oils, I need to kind of share my bias. I'm speaking about doTERRA brand because that's the brand that I use and the brand that I can speak confidently about. And I would just, recommend that people do research and make sure that they're getting a brand, one that they love and trust. And this is the one that I love and trust. And with our oils, you can use them all three ways. You can use them aromatically.
Right.
Of course, breathing them in, topically on the skin,
Right.
and then also internally.
Wow. So you can mix them in water or put them on the tongue or
Cook with them, yes, put them in veggie capsules, but yeah, you can absolutely take them internally. The difference being I don't know if you want to go here yet, but if you want to talk a little bit about what makes an essential oil safe to take internally.
Sure. Why not?
So when I first learned about essential oils, actually I have to back up and tell a super short story. So my youngest daughter, 1 year before I was actually introduced to essential oils, said, "Mom," this is my California girl, right?
Yep.
So she says, "Mom, when I come home for Christmas, I'd really like to have a couple of essential oils in my stocking." And I said, "Okay, just kind of tell me what you want. I don't know much about them. I know that hippies use them, and I'd heard of patchouli and lavender, right? I mean, that's pretty much my knowledge of essential oils.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
who has time to learn about essential oils? Like, that's sort of what my mindset was at the time.
Yeah.
And so I went to a trusted health food store, and I picked up a bottle that said 100% pure, 100% natural, and I think, I'm doing good. I'm getting her the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I did. I bought her that oil, and I really didn't know anything about purity and testing or any of those things. And so now cut to being introduced to doTERRA and starting to learn about them and how they take care of and serve our bodies, minds, spirits, emotions. And I start learning about the differences in grades of essential oil and that they're not regulated by the government. So anybody can put that label on their bottle that says 100% natural, 100% pure. And the truth is, if you look at the labels more closely and you read them, it will say things like, do not take internally,
Right.
don't put on your skin, don't use it
Right.
on children, don't use it if you're pregnant. Basically, the only thing you can kind of safely do is smell them. And so that's when I began to understand the difference, because our bottles have supplement facts and serving size, and they are the most trusted, the most pure, unadulterated oils on the planet. In fact, the only company, and then I know we'll get off this because we want to get more into the oils themselves, but it really does matter where you get your oils, and they're the only company in the world that has a website dedicated to transparency so that you can put the lot number of your bottle into a website called sourcetoyou.com, and you can look at what's exactly is in each and every bottle so that you can trust that it's safe to use on your children, with your elders, with your family.
Wow. All right. Now, what makes essential oil so special in terms of however we use them? I've heard before about the blood-brain barrier.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
right.
can you talk a little bit about that?
Some of the oils, frankincense is a great example. We've all heard of frankincense. Frankincense is the oil that was brought to the frankincense was brought to the Christ child. So that's for most of us the first time we heard the word
Right.
frankincense.
Right.
But it is an incredibly powerful oil. It's called the king of oils because it does pretty much anything that you need it to do. Mostly because it can do that thing. It can pass through the blood-brain barrier and go to the brain and actually help with healthy cell renewal, with brain function, with memory, with anything to do with concentration and brain health. And of course, the brain runs the whole body.
Of course.
Is
So-
frankincense what we smell when we go to church and
It
they
is
burn
indeed.
it? Yes.
Yeah, so that's the resin that they're burning, or sometimes there's frankincense incense, but this is pure distilled frankincense from the plant. It's highly potent. So just as a comparison, we were talking about peppermint a minute ago. 28 cups of peppermint tea is equal to 1 drop of doTERRA's peppermint oil. So
Wow.
these are highly, highly concentrated. And of course, essential oil is more potent than a dried herb. It's still in liquid form, right?
Right.
So, yeah. So you don't, when you see people putting, a ton of drops on something, I want to just go, oh, what are you doing? You don't need that much. Your body
Right.
can't handle that much.
Right, right. And we should say, again, doTERRA, which is, and we'll talk a bit more about doTERRA and the brand of oil and the purity of it. But you do need to approach essential oils with respect.
Absolutely.
Because of
Common
their
sense.
power, the healing power. And if you think about it, again, a lot of pharmaceuticals begin with plant-based and
Right, so all our
natural-based.
medicines
Yeah,
begin,
yeah.
And then they add synthetics or
Right.
other things.
So, again, with essential oils, and particularly the therapeutic grade, the pure essential oils, you've got powerful stuff that, again, you've already made the point, goes directly to the brain. You affect the brain,
Yes.
you affect the entire body.
Right. And these oils are absorbed into the bloodstream within about 30 seconds. And they go right to work, and then they know right where to go, which is a different mindset than many of us have grown up thinking about how to take medicine, how to treat symptoms, or, whether to treat the symptom, which is sort of, the modern approach, versus getting to the root cause and what the body needs on a cellular level, which is what essential oils provide.
Is there you mentioned the aromatherapy, the topical use, the internal use. Is there a better way than another, or is that determined by what might be going on in a particular person?
Yeah, I do think as you begin to learn about essential oils, and and as people come into our community here locally, we provide a lot of education immediately to help them learn how to use their oils and which ways most would benefit them based on what it is they're trying to get support for. So, for example, let's just take lemon. So lemon is we were talking about lemon a minute ago, really clean, wonderful smell. Who doesn't love the smell of oranges and
Absolutely.
lemons? So it's great to diffuse lemon, right? It's great. It smells wonderful. It smells clean and fresh. It literally cleans the air in the room. It's very uplifting to the mood. So it's great to diffuse it. But if I'm working, let's say, on getting my body into a healthy weight balance, and I want to kind of cleanse my system, then it's going to make more sense not for me just to diffuse lemon, but to put lemon in my water. To put a drop or two in my water and drink it internally so that it can begin to literally cleanse my system from the inside out. Liver and kidneys, and just begin to reap the benefits of that internal usage. So really, again, like you said, it really depends on what it is they're treating. If something, for example, if you have if you've been out in the sun too long and your skin hurts because of it, lavender is very soothing applied to the skin. It really heals the skin.
And what a wonderful. I can't get enough lavender.
Lavender's
enough.
good.
Yeah.
Lavender's a
It's
good
very
one.
popular. So yeah, depending on what the need is, the modality might shift. But you kind of can't go wrong if you're getting them on you or in you or breathing them in. It's going to help.
So you can't OD on them?
Well, I guess if you put your body in a swimming pool of essential oil and stayed in, even then, I'm not sure you would. Your body, they're adaptogenic, so your body's going to use what it needs and it's going to slough off the rest.
Right. What? So can there are single oil blends and there are single oils and then there are blends of oils, right? What's the difference?
Well, so in doTERRA's case, a single oil is, for example, peppermint. We know that only peppermint plant is in this bottle. Nothing but peppermint. There's no filler oils, there's no additives, it's only peppermint and it's only one plant. doTERRA also makes proprietary blends. So for example, a blend, Digestazine, which is for, you would probably guess, the digestion.
Right.
For tummy troubles. Digestazine has peppermint in it, but it also has other additional oils that are supportive of the digestion. So ginger, let's see if I can read it with my old eyes. I should have all these memorized by now, shouldn't I? Ginger root, peppermint, caraway, coriander, fennel. These are oils and plants that you would associate with healthy digestion. So so they have single plants in a bottle. Wild orange, lemon, lime, frankincense, melaleuca, etc. And then we have blends that are formulated to support particular systems.
Is that the best way to begin to think about what is it that I might be out of balance with me, whether it's in my digestive tract or my emotional self, or is that the best way to begin?
That's how most people come in. We'll do a wellness consultation and we'll say, what are you needing support for? And some people, it does begin with emotions, and others are like, my back hurts. I can't sleep. I'm stressed.
We're visiting with Mary Toma today. We're talking about Essential Oils 101 and Heart-Centered Essentials. You'll find Mary at marytoma.com, THOMA. We'll come back and tell you more as our conversation today with Mary Toma continues.
Good sense, innocence, crippling mankind. Dead kings, many things I can't define. Occasions, but
Is it coming through? Can you smell the?
You guys smell orange?
Yeah, yeah. It should be coming through the radio by now. Ruben, flip the switch.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and flip the smell on the radio switch.
Yeah, so
I got that
if
over
you're
here.
driving,
we never use it. I don't know why.
Yeah, if you're driving, folks, don't worry. If orange fills up your car, blame it on Ruben. Yeah, and Mary.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Welcome back into 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Welcome back into Strategies for Living as we talk about essential oils this evening. PLPC Carla McCormick, marriage and family therapist David McMillan. We are with Mary Thoma. That's Thoma. That's important because you're going to want to continue the conversation with Mary beyond the conversation that Carla and I are beginning today. And how do you do that? Well, you go to marythoma.com.
So I was asking Mary at the break before I got fussed at for asking questions during the break.
You always get fussed
I
at.
know, 'cause
Maybe
I've talked
Mary
during the
has an
break.
essential oil that she can leave with Ruben and I, and we
To
can.
make me be quiet?
No,
So I won't ask the questions during the break?
during the break. Yeah.
It's called In Tune, the Focus Blend.
Oh, I like it.
Ouch. Well, my question was, is there a book? How do you start? I mean, is there like a recipe book for essential oils?
There are so many books out there, which is wonderful. We've really grown in the resources that are now available to people. And what I like to tell people is if they come into our community, if they want to get started with the oils and they want support, we have an incredible support community right here in Shreveport-Bossier.
And that's the
We-
doTERRA
and we-
community, right?
I was just about to say, what's the
heart-centered.
community? The community is that you make it sound like a cult or a club.
Oh, no, it's just a whole bunch of families, about 500 families that are using essential oils in their homes with their families.
One of which is my daughter. Yeah, and I want to mention that when one of the kids has this or that or sore throat or one of the first things now that she goes to is doTERRA and her little kit.
It is the most beautiful thing to be able to have these oils at your fingertips. I carry them with me everywhere. It might just be the top 10. I have a lot more than 10, I'll be honest, right? I'm a little over the top because I adore them.
Right.
But when I went to Greece and Germany recently for one of my dear friends' birthdays, I took my oils with me. And I was so glad I did because they came in handy for lots of different needs that people had. And it's just such a beautiful, simple way to care for 90 to 95% of your needs, of your daily needs.
So have you stopped taking traditional medicines pretty much? I mean, like, do you still take Tylenol or Pepto-Bismol or some of the common?
No. Well, okay. So true transparency, I would say probably in the last 3 years, I've probably had Tylenol 2 or 3 times.
So you treat
Because
headaches?
I was impatient for the peppermint, probably. But no, I use essential oils wholeheartedly and fully for everything that I need. I haven't had anything to go to the doctor, any ailments for the doctor in 3 years. In fact, I was thinking on the way over here, as a woman, I get a mammogram annually and or every 2 years. And when I went to register to make an appointment for my mammogram, they were like, oh, well, when's the last time you went to your doctor? And I was like, oh, I don't know, because I don't really go to the doctor. I don't need to go to the doctor very much. And she's like, well, you can't get your mammogram unless you have a doctor's appointment. So I went to my doctor, who's been my doctor since I was 15, which is wonderful. And he was like, well, so, what are your symptoms? What's going on with you? And I said, nothing. I just needed an appointment. And he said, well, what are you doing? And I said, I'm using essential oils. And he said, so are we. He and his wife
Wow.
use them. They have recipes. And this is a very esteemed doctor locally. And it's been a doctor for 45, 50 years, and he's using them. He's using them on their horse. I mean, they're safe for animals. Some of them, you need some education. There's some things you can't use with your pets, but we help with all that, with the education.
I got to tell you, this goes back probably well over a decade. Was my introduction to essential oils, and it was a lady from the Dallas-Fort Worth area, lady by the name of Donna Reese. And what Donna told me was very, very similar to what you just said. She said she had not been to a doctor in ages. We were in the conversation, and she said, I don't have health insurance or anything like that. I use essential oils. and as I asked about them, she pulled out something similar to what I'm seeing, and I was fascinated. I was absolutely fascinated by her story. I didn't know. I just didn't know before that.
It's so different if you're not used to it. And as I said, 3 years ago, my life has changed. 3 years ago, I knew they were on the planet, and I knew that really crunchy people use them. I knew nothing about them. Now they are part of every part of my life. I'm cooking with them. They're in my kitchen, they're in my bathroom, they're in my bedroom, they're in my purse. They've just become such a lifestyle. And it's similar to, say, beginning to eat organic food. At first, it can feel overwhelming. You think, I remember thinking, I don't have time to learn anything new. I don't have time to learn a whole system of essential oils. Who has time for that?
Right.
Who has time to make their own cleansers? Who is that woman? I don't know her. And now, guess what? 3 years later, all of my cleansers in my household are natural. There's no more toxic chemicals in my home. I'm not putting toxic chemicals on my body. All of my healthcare and self-care is natural, and I feel amazing.
So you're
and it was
making all
step
your-
by step, incremental. It doesn't have to be all at once.
You're making all your own lotions and everything?
Well, I don't make a lot of lotion, but doTERRA has a scent-free lotion that's very clean, that doesn't have those icky chemicals, petrochemicals and things in them, or toxins in them. And the beauty of like a body lotion, for example, is that you can take that scent-free, clean lotion that doTERRA makes and pick any one of your oils and put a drop in it with your lotion, and you've got wild orange lotion, you've got lime lotion, you can mix several of them together.
Fruit salad.
So it's really fruit salad.
If
That's it,
David walks in
exactly.
smelling like a fruit salad, I'm going to know.
You'll know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so one of the things that is so important for all of our health is keeping our immune system healthy.
Absolutely.
And I remember years ago on this very program interviewing a very renowned cancer doc. And he was answering a question. I forget the question now, but in the answer, he says, "We all have cancer." And I said, I let him finish the answer. And I said, "Doc, back up. I think I misheard you. You said we all have cancer." He said, "Well, yeah." He said, "If you define cancer by cancerous cells in the body, we all have them." He said, "If you routinely, your immune system just handles the cancerous cells, and what gets diagnosed as cancer is when the cancer cells overrun your immune system, i.e., the immune system isn't healthy enough to handle it." That was a revelation for me. Duh. So, can essential oils be helpful in keeping a balanced and healthy immune system?
Well, the short answer is yes, and it's not just my experience that proves it. There's 6.5 million people that are using doTERRA with their families now, and the company's only 10 years old.
Wow.
And so what we know is that these oils really do help the body come into balance and function at its best. So, number one, I'm not a doctor. I only play one on TV every now and then. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a medical expert. And people need to know that you don't have to be a medical expert to benefit from these oils, that there's a lot of information out there, and slowly but surely you learn from our community. And when I say our community, I mean the international community of essential oil users, specifically doTERRA. But there's, of course, other oil users out there besides doTERRA.
Sure.
But in regards to building immunity, that is one of the biggest. Well, there's so many benefits that I've felt, but one of the biggest benefits that I've felt has been to boosting my immune system. As a semi-retired actor, it's a lot of stress and a lot of emotion that comes from being an actor, and it really can wreak havoc on your immune system. And my point of attack was always my throat. In fact, my husband, always joked I'd be in the last week before a play was to open, or I was on set and, was working multiple days on set, really late hours. And he'd say, "Well, have you got those pockets on your throat yet?" Because that's what used to always happen. My immune system would be depleted, right?
Right.
I would get sick and it would show up in my throat. Well, actually now, 3 years in, I've still been doing the same work. I have not had a throat infection or a flare-up like that not once. And what I do anytime I begin to feel the slightest bit of dip where you know your immune system's just screaming at you like you're about to get sick, you're worn out, you're tired, you're exhausted, is I will take On Guard, which is one of our blends. It's an immunity boosting blend. It's called the Protective Blend. And I will, so if I'm getting to get like a tiny little bit of a sore throat, and this sounds so weird to people who aren't used to using oils, but I can just take the top off the bottle, just literally just touch the bottle, not even a full drop on my finger, and rub it externally over my lymph nodes. Sometimes I'll put a little bit in my throat and it'll actually coat my throat. So it's fantastic for sore
But
throats
you've got an
and building
absorption
immunity.
thing going through the
Yes.
skin, of course.
But what most people do, and I need to be a little bit better about it. I was really good about this for a while. This is a good reminder. Is I used to start the day with this protective blend on the soles of my feet. So I know that sounds so strange the first time I heard it, but it's actually a great place to apply essential oils.
Well, if you think about it, you know, your hands and your feet connect to what? Just about everything else?
That's right. And you got your reflex points as well.
Reflexology and yeah.
So especially people, so On Guard or something, an essential oil that has immunity boosting benefits is a great practice to use daily. So a lot of people will get up and after they've had their shower and they're getting ready for work, they'll put a drop of On Guard on the soles of their feet. When we use it in families with young children, we always dilute the oils for children and elders, and that's basically just because their skin's a little more sensitive.
Right.
And so we have roller bottles that are pre-diluted of oils, and many parents, before they send their children off to school in the morning, will just roll a little roller bottle of On Guard blend up their spine. It's a great delivery, or on the soles of their feet, and send them off. People that work in hospitals, that work in banks, anywhere where there's a lot of people coming and going and you're exposed to a lot of germs, it's a wonderful oil. We diffuse it all the time around the holidays when so many people are coming in our home.
Right.
First, it smells great. It smells like Thanksgiving or Christmas because it's clove and cinnamon and wild orange and just really delicious scents. But it's so cleansing, and it cleanses the air and it boosts our immunity and helps us to not get those icky germs that walk into our house.
And especially if you combine that with good nutrition and sleep and exercise, man, you got something going, don't you?
Absolutely. In fact, I like to tell people, you can't go to McDonald's or Burger King every day and think that you're going to take the metabolic blend and, you're not going to gain any weight. Like, it's not magic beans, but these are incredibly powerful tools, ancient tools in a very convenient form.
I know you're going to tell us some stories this evening. What's the most, what story comes to mind to begin with of people you've worked with who have been helped immensely by essential oils? And I'm going to ask you to think about that. Hold that thought, because Ruben is shaking his finger at me as we speak. So I'm going to shake my finger back at him because I got this orange blend on me and it's doing something. See, it's firing me up. You feel it, Ruben?
I feel it. I'm
Okay.
playing the Orange
It's
Blossom
happy.
Special
It's
just
happy
for the
oil.
occasion.
Aren't you glad he didn't say bananas?
Oh, cut her off.
I should have turned her mic off.
We'll be back.
Down that railroad track. Hey, look yonder coming. Coming down that railroad track.
And welcome back. Welcome back to 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Welcome back to Strategies for Living Marriage and Family Therapist David McMillan, PLPC Carla McCormick, and Mary Toma, who is taking us through Essential Oils 101. You're going to want to continue the conversation, but we're going to run out of time. You're going to have to come back. You're going to have to definitely come back. But Heart-Centered Essentials is where you will find Mary Toma. You'll find that online, marytoma.com, T-H-O-M-A, please, marytoma.com.
Thank you.
You were beginning to think about a story. I asked you going into break, what's maybe one of the most profound stories of people you've worked with right here with essential oil?
You know, and my first thought was to tell you that there are so many, not even internationally. I'm talking right here in Shreveport, Bossier, with the 500 people that are on my team in my business. So many stories of people getting off medications, of people getting off antidepressants. Of course, all with checking with your doctor, you know, always checking with your medical professional.
Right.
But being able to lose weight, I mean, just on and on and on. There's so many stories, but one that comes to mind is a woman who was a friend of a friend who was going through, she had a brain mass, and she was going through all the traditional treatments, chemo, radiation, all of that. And fortunately had a really incredible mindset, and she had everything going for her in a way, but she was given a very short lifespan diagnosis.
Right.
And young woman, small child, etc. So fortunately she's with us and she's doing well and she beat the odds and all of that. But one of the times that she went in to speak with her team and they were going to go over her protocol again, they said to her, we want you to do everything that you've been doing. We're going to keep this protocol the same, but we'd like you to add one thing. We'd like you to add frankincense, and we'd like you to take frankincense and make a halo around your head with the oil, and we'd like you to do that daily.
Now, when you say her team, you mean her team?
Oncologist or surgeon or whoever those, I mean, I don't know specifically who her team was, but yes, her team of doctors.
Okay.
And side note, we have doctors and nurses right here in Shreveport
who are using
doTERRA's oils on our team.
Wow.
And are sharing. You know, they can't prescribe them necessarily, but they tell their patients about them. And
so they ask her to use frankincense and to make a halo.
And to make a halo around her head. So the beauty of that story is that Eastern and Western medicine are coming together and beginning to dance and have a conversation, that it doesn't have to be one or the other. Another friend right here in town had an aneurysm, a brain aneurysm, and had a really painful scar that would kind of light up, you know, so close to the brain. It would light up every 2 or 3 hours and just cause her so much pain. And I was pretty new to the oils at that point.
Right.
And I said, I know frankincense is supportive of the brain. Why don't we just try it? Just try frankincense and rub it on that scar and see if it helps. And do you know she is free of that pain? It stopped. It took a while. She'd have to put it on. You know, it would flare up. She would put it on, just one drop.
Right.
It would calm down. 3 or 4 hours later, it would start again. She'd put another drop on, and now she doesn't even have to use it anymore.
Wow.
And as I said, people that are truly transforming their health, they're transforming their lifestyle, they're using it with their children. You know, that's my one regret, is that I have 2 daughters, and I wish so much that I'd had these oils at my fingertips when my children were small. And we've replaced, like, our medicine cabinet. So here's a little side note. So my husband, if he's listening, he used to have about 13 to 15 different digestive support medicines, right? So you've got both ends of the spectrum, right? You've got all these different medicines and antacids and all these, depending on, you know, what your symptom is.
Right.
Well, now all we need is 1 bottle of Digestin, because it brings the digestive system into balance. So no matter where you are on the spectrum, you can use one thing and it's going to bring the body into balance.
Wow.
They don't heal. What they do is they give the body what it needs to heal itself,
The
which
body
we know
is
the body does.
It's a healing mechanism in and of itself. We just have to get out of its way.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And our bodies understand the information in these plants. They get to work very quickly.
So it's because it's all natural.
Right.
Natural begets natural.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Wow.
This-
If I wanted to start, I'm sorry, Carla, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If I wanted to start with, if I wanted to an intro, what oils? If I was going to pick out 2 or 3, what would I begin with?
Well, we like to help people get started with our top 10, which are 10 oils, not 3, because with those 10 oils that have multiple uses, every single one of them, you are set up in your household for pretty much 90% of what comes your way. But if you really push my hand and say, what 3 would I start with? I would probably start you with lemon, lavender, and peppermint. Because
she
they
said
have
lavender. I
such
love it.
such diverse uses and can help us support us in so many ways, emotionally and physically.
All right. So is this an expensive proposition?
Well, oils do, is an expensive proposition. It's pennies per drop, actually.
Yeah.
So that's the truth. But where my brain went just there is, oils are kind of a popular thing right now. Everybody's selling oils. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at Sam's. You can get them at, drugstores. And
But again, buyer beware, because those are
That's
not
right.
all oils are not created equally.
And that's what I really, people think you're just saying it because you're married to one brand, but I really challenge people to do their research. These are powerful tools. And if someone says to you, they can sell you a bottle of frankincense for $9 at a grocery store, you need to really think about whether that makes sense. And our oils are a bit more on the expensive side, but
Right.
when you begin to realize that one bottle has got 250 drops in it,
So 250 doses.
250 doses, it actually ends up being pennies per drop, and it saves people tons of money because they're not running to the drugstore all the time, buying over-the-counter meds. They're not treating symptoms. They're getting healthy, and they're not going to the doctor as much. And right now, we're all crying out for affordable, safe, natural health and self-care.
Yes.
So it's almost ridiculous not to have these in your homes for so many different reasons. Maybe ridiculous wasn't the right word, but it's so beneficial to us and so easy to use that we almost can't afford not to have them, is what I really mean to say.
Last week we had the Meredith, the acupuncturist,
Right.
and she talked a lot about Chinese medicine and using herbs and
The
things.
flow of the body.
Yeah, so I mean, all of this is all kind of all coming together. It just makes so much sense. I
really
guess is where
does.
I'm going. It's not rocket science. It's not something that I can't get my head around. It just makes so much sense. It almost seems too simple.
If I were struggling with depression or I was struggling with anxiety, is there an essential oil for me?
There are, and each of our bodies, the biochemistry is a little bit different.
Right.
But so you do learn what your body responds to best. But that is one of the number one concerns that people come to me with when we sit down and we talk about how can I support you. It's almost always on the list of 3. It's going to be stress and anxiety.
Sure.
For many people, lavender is very calming and really helps reduce, that emotional stress. I have a couple of blends that are my favorite. They're kind of my desert island oils. They're blends, so there's multiple oils in a bottle. One is called Serenity, well named, right? Serenity,
Right,
and it's
yeah.
more floral with lavender and Roman chamomile and some other oils. It's just amazing. And then another one is called Balance. It's a blend, and it's more woodsy. It's tree oils. And when we put them together, we'll make our own little roller bottles of those so that we can just roll them on whenever we need them. Whenever you're feeling stressed out, someone's
Right.
honking in the car and cutting you off in traffic, you can reach in your purse and just roll that on and take a little chill. But we call that liquid calm because that's really, it's very supportive of calming and helping you feel more grounded and centered. And the thing is, you don't feel drugged. You don't feel out of it. You don't feel woozy. You just feel calmer.
I love it.
Yeah, it's
We're-
a beautiful tool.
We are learning about heart-centered essentials with Mary Toma and Essential Oils 101. MaryToma.com, THOMA. We're going to have you back. We'll be back to wrap up this conversation today with Mary. Stay with us.
concerned about my happiness.
I'm getting a look right now. It's got flowers in the title as well.
I know. I know. I know. I'm just. It boggles the mind sometimes.
He's that good.
He's that. Yeah. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. 101.7 FM and 710 Keel. PLPC Carla McCormick and marriage and family therapist David McMillan. Mary Toma, Heart-Centered Essentials for Radiant Living. And you'll find her at marytoma.com. THOMA, please. Okay, I'm sold. So I'm ready.
Awesome.
What do I do?
Come on.
What do I do?
Well, actually, if anyone's interested in getting started with us, what we do is we can you can go to the website and you can look at the kits if you want to get a starter kit and begin, or you can do a $35 membership, which is kind of like Sam's Club, where you get 25% off if you just want to buy single oils. There are benefits to getting a kit because then you kind of got your household set up and ready.
Yeah, you're ready to go.
You're
It's kind of a first aid kit.
It is.
Right?
It is. It's a, sort of a natural first aid kit.
Yeah.
What I did want to say, though, is what I love to do is invite people to our classes. We have free community classes where we teach people about the oils. Doesn't cost
where do you
anything,
do that?
and you don't have to buy to come. We announce them periodically. You'll find events on my website. There's not any up there right now, but I'm going to be loading the next ones up soon. But you can also just call me, and I love to meet people for coffee. And we sit down. It takes 30 minutes, and we say, what are your concerns? You know, you want more energy. You want to sleep better. You want less pain. You want balance in your weight, whatever it is that you want. And we start addressing your needs, because this is not about us. It's about how we can support you to live that radiant life that you deserve.
I love the word radiant.
Yeah, I know you do. Yeah, I know you do. And you two are radiant anyway. I mean, you know.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, you owe me after the show.
That's why they call me Sparkles.
Yeah, exactly.
Sparkles.
Exactly. So you got to come back. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground tonight, but there's a lot more ground to cover, Mary.
It's true.
And we could have gotten, and maybe next time you come back, we can get into some specifics, because I know that, like migraine headaches, for instance. There are specific oils and blends.
Peppermint's so great for that.
Yeah.
And there's a blend called Past Tense. It's really great for intense head tension.
Yeah. Around here, sinus and allergy stuff. So we'll take the common stuff and maybe do a program on,
Sure. I'd love to.
what oils
Yeah,
come to mind.
I'd like to hear more about, because you said you were cooking with them. I mean,
Yes, you
we
can cook with
understand
them.
the diffusers and on the skin, but I mean, like the nutritional part of this.
It's so great because your herbs don't go bad in the refrigerator anymore. You know how you use a little bit, then they sit there and you're like, oh, I wasted that? Not when you have it in a bottle.
Okay, folks, continue the conversation with Mary Toma, www.marytoma.com, THOMA. Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you. I enjoyed it so much. Thanks for having me.
My only complaint, it goes too fast. It goes way too fast. Folks, thank you for tuning into Strategies for Living. We've been presented by KEEL, the Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse of Northwest Louisiana. Also by Milestones Counseling Center, by Jerry Anderson State Farm Insurance, by Learning RX, by Highland Place Rehab and Nursing Center, by Resilient House, and by Jacob's Well Inspirational Books and Gifts. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call to make, who would you call? What would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Mary Toma and for PLPC Carla McCormick, and for Reuben Wright, I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. We'll see you next time here on Strategies for Living.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.